dreams, moving forward. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. No one can tell about us better than ourselves. Watch the block of programs of TV Brics International Network on Umtala TV, South Africa.
Yasmin Fouad, Executive Secretary of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. She has held the post since 2025. She earned a master's degree in ecology from Ain Shams University and a PhD in Euro-Mediterranean Studies from Cairo University. From 2018, she served 7 years as Egypt's Minister of Environment. She has extensive experience in environmental governance and international climate diplomacy.
Thank you for having time for our conversation.
Thank you.
Firstly, I wanted to mention that in May 2026, the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification launched the international initiative Silk Road Caravan, a campaign in support of the International Year of Rangelands and Pastoralists. Why was this particular route chosen, and how was the expedition team selected?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to focus on the rangeland as a topic. The rangeland to multilateral process was part of COP16 that was hosted in Riyadh in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And there was a decision that focuses on rangeland, and we took that over. We focused on having that topic as part of the International Year for Rangeland that was selected by the United Nations, the SG in New York, that 2026 will be the International Year for Pastoralist and Rangeland. As the UNCCD is the convention responsible for land, we focused more on what I would say raising awareness, showing visibility of the pastoralists and the herders. And that is something that we are doing as to build the momentum towards COP17. As for the team, our focus is people-centered approach. How can we start from Riyadh, where there was COP16, going to Turkey in Antalya, meeting the herders and the women, coming to that part of the world of Central Asia, moving to China, and then until we reach Mongolia. So the whole purpose is focusing on the people. That would be part of that.
You've noted that rangelands cover more than half of the Earth's land surface and provide livelihoods for billions of people. Yet in some regions, they are disappearing faster than tropical forests. In your view, what role does traditional pastoralism play in their conservation?
First, they know exactly their landscapes. Secondly, their traditional knowledge is vast, diversified, but they are the one who can protect the land. And third, they know exactly also how they can ensure that the mobility, when it's happening for the rangeland, is happening within the right path, the right time, within the right route. All this are part of a culture and an identity. And regardless of, we're different in our culture, we're different on our beliefs and our identity. United for Land is the thing that we're trying here to promote that goes beyond the rangeland campaign.
Taken back to the Silk Road Caravan, it runs from Riyadh to Ulaanbaatar. Participants have already visited Turkey, Russia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. What traditional practices and innovative solutions could be scaled up for land restoration worldwide?
Topic related to land and water, sustainable water management, how we are using the water from the flood in the time when there is a dry season, how we're able to forecast the heat waves or the weather for the selection of the crops, and how women bear the consequences of all this within the pastoralists and the herders would also be something that we will need to upscale and replicate.
The Silk Road Caravan builds on agreements that were adopted during the session of the Conference of the Parties. What practical results of that work could be pointed today?
The campaign is for raising the awareness. The COP and the decision is to show that the world is agreeing that rangeland is a priority. The next COP will make focus on the finance. So moving from commitments, awareness, to delivery on the ground. And this is what we are trying to build upon through the Silk Road Caravan.
Also at the 16th conference, there was launched the Riyadh Global Drought Resilience Partnership.
Low income and low middle income country would be on the top of the list. We're talking about 75 countries that already had developed their drought management plan and that are in need of that support. But the beauty of what we're talking about drought is that we cannot really continue working on public finance. What matters and what we are trying to do in the UNCCD with the IFIs, with other UN agencies, with partners and with the private sector is to show that the case of drought and investing in land could be bankable. And by that, we're pitching in more private sector in the process of mitigating land degradation or mitigating the impact of drought and combating land degradation. And that is a game changer around all the narrative in the convention.
Also, I wanted to mention that in your home country, Egypt, the New Delta Project, the largest land reclamation initiative in the history of the Arab Republic, has been launched. How quickly, in your view, will the country be able to increase the total area of cultivated land by the target of 15%?
I would say two things. First, a political will and a commitment, and that's very important within the leadership of the government of Egypt right now. Secondly, the technologies, especially on the reuse of water, and how can we make water more available, and the crops that use less water. And this has been an area where the country has been investing a lot in innovation. In a nutshell, if we're increasing the area for agricultural land, you do not need only investment. You need innovation for crops, you need healthy soil, you need water, and that's why in COP17, land and water nexus are interconnected, and we will continue to uplift the discussion on land and water together. But you need the youth. And the beauty of Egypt is it has a large number of youth that are capable and well educated that will continue on the agricultural lands.
Soil degradation became one of the central topics in the Brics agenda in 2025. One of the main decisions then was the establishment of the Partnership for Land Restoration. How, in your view, do the initiatives of the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification and Brics efforts complement each other?
I think one is try to get those who are benefiting from land, whether directly or indirectly, in that process and in that dialogue. And by that, the Business for Land initiative is a concrete example of creating private sector scientists, experts, hubs at the national, sub-regional, and regional level to start discussing land restoration. Secondly, which we're going to present in the next COP, the mining sector. The mining sector is highly intensified in using the land, but they are also obliged to restore land. So bringing the mining sector to that discussion would be part of the industry that we would like to bring to that story. And third, what the science can tell us about healthy soil and how can we maintain that quickly by different technology. And one thing that the convention would be embarking on is the use of the AI, the artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is highly consuming and has its own environmental impact on land, water, and energy. But also, if we were able to reduce that impact of the environment, which we are aware of, but use the AI for the benefit of detecting land degradation, planning better, monitoring for land restoration, I think that would be also a game changer in the digital transformation for dealing with land.
Also, I wanted to mention about China that makes perfect results in combating desertification. For instance, over the past 10 years, the area of sandy deserts has been reduced for 4 million hectares and stony deserts for 5 million. For sure, high technologies have played just a major role in this process. Which mechanisms, in your view, could accelerate the adoption of innovations in agricultural sectors in Global South countries?
South-South cooperation is mechanism, the private sector capital, and de-risking the capital of the private sector, which is a new innovative mechanism. Taxonomy that would be part of the instruments that would be used within the countries in the South would be something that would be useful. And what we have in the convention, which is the G20 Global Land Initiative that is has been emerged from the G20 countries, and it's funded by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, is another platform that is ready, willing, and able to get the technologies and quickly spread them, replicate them, and upscale and allow for exchange of experience between China and other countries, especially at the South.
And also I wanted to ask you, how has the rapid development of innovations changed the curricula in agronomy, soil science, and ecology?
The education in that area focused on business, focused on the biology, on the pattern for the soil and exchange and for the layers. But I think that there could be other areas that could be uplifted, like the economics of land degradation, when you're talking about that the cost of the annual losses each year for the world is 900 billion USD annually for land degradation, or for drought 300 billion. This link of the science of land and soil and water, and linking to the economics and linking to the social aspects would need to be more strength. But we have also another cooperation with number of universities where we're creating a platform in order to integrate those kind of discussion of land degradation, drought, and desertification in the different field and the cross-cutting and the multidisciplinary field within different universities around the world.
Dr. Fouad, thank you very much for this important conversation.
Thank you.